If you want to start a fight, take off on the first sign of cops. Now, you don't take off on a fight, right? When you want to start one, you finish it. Stay there and finish it. Cops or no cops.
I know, man. Come on, you know that's the way they are.
Oh, yeah. No.
Come on.
Get lost.
Beat
Beat it.
I was supposed to be married to read up at the dance, but they wouldn't let me.
Boy, sure can use another drink.
She probably won't talk to me now.
Maybe you ought to head down to the park.
I don't know.
Maybe we can make a few bucks.
No rough stuff, eh?
Look, if the guy wants to give it to us, he'll give it to us. Otherwise, we'll take it off.
Boys? From these parts?
Sure, man. I was around here before.
We're from here. Come from out west.
Yeah? Yeah? When'd you get in?
Just a few days ago.
For jobs?
Yeah. No, we're just passing through.
We're looking for a drink. Yeah, we're looking for a party. You got any?
Well, I haven't got anything on me, but I'm sure if you get back to the house, we can find something for you.
You don't have anything on you, eh?
That's right.
I'm not going over to your place. You got any money? You have any money?
No.
I got no money.
I got none. Roy, eat, Roy. Oh, right you are, too. You want me to dig, eh? Roy.
Oh, you got him, Roy. You got him good, Roy.
You saved my life, Roy. You did. You saved my life, Roy. You done good. I was getting worried there for a minute, I'll tell you it all.
Keep your voice down.
I was getting worried there for a minute. They wanted to get us, but you got them instead. You got them better. That's right. Oh, you did.
Hello, Jimmy. Hello, Roy.
It's getting late. He saved my life, Mary.
Shut up.
Getting late.
Okay, we're going to bed now.
Right, sweet dreams.
So cold.
Oh, Jesus.
That's Andy, man. Two of them guys, man.
Jesus, he's bad, Junior.
Two guys, man. They were two guys. One of them pulled a knife. That's what they did.
We gotta get some help, Steve.
What do we do?
Come on, we gotta get somebody. Come on, Junior. Come on.
You showed him. You showed him good, Roy.
Don't you say nothing about this, you hear me?
Nobody messes with the captain, eh?
Damn, you cut that out now, you hear me? Never say nothing about what happened. Never. Play the game, Jim. You don't play the game, you get hurt. Hey? Right there, Jimmy. Hey? Hey? Now, come on, let's say we get a couple of steaks and we have ourselves a bit of a barbecue. That'd be nice, eh?
Kind of late.
Play. Clap.
Would you seal off the scene down at the park?
No, I didn't seal off the scene. I thought you were going to do that.
Geez, I don't think anybody did.
Well, I'm not going back down there again tonight.
What
Hey, don't you go too far.
What about Seal's Cove? You
Got it.
Do anything with that?
That's all here. How you doing, Mike?
Leo.
Howard, how's it going?
Dr. William Wallace. Dr.
Who's this guy?
Wallace.
His name is Maynard Chance. Picked him up hitching out on the highway. Sure it was all bloody. He said he was there tonight in the park when the kid got stabbed.
I was with Marshall after Sandy got stabbed.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought somebody ought to talk to him.
I told him what happened. There were two of them guys, right?
How come whenever there's a fight, you're in the middle of it?
Them guys who got Sandy, there were two of them, right?
Dr. Ted Graham. Dr. Ted
Yeah, two guys.
Pick these guys up down by the government wharf. Recognize them?
Nope. Ain't them.
What makes you so sure?
Dr. Rogers.
The guy who got
Dr.
Sandy was
Rogers.
old, gray hair, and he was short.
At the park, you said the old guy was tall.
No, the old guy was short. The young guy had a beard. Back there. Morning, Sergeant.
Morning.
What's his condition? Anybody know? Not good. Seal's stable, but not much more. Who was with him last?
Well, it was four of us here. We were all down at the hospital with him at one time or another.
And who talked to him last?
I guess I did.
But I don't see nothing here.
Eh?
A statement.
They weren't sure if he was going to make it.
They're still not. Ever hear of a die-in declaration? How's Marshall? Oh, he's okay. Took a few stitches in the arm. We took him home. The kid was shook up. Hell, that he was. Well, let's get him back down here.
Don't figure he's going anywhere.
Don't wait too long before you bring him in.
Prime Minister Trudeau expressed surprise at what he called the Soviet government's willingness to deal with Canada as a great power, despite his own protestations.
Come on, John, out of bed.
That high.
Said today you was going to help me
This
out.
morning in Sydney, a teenager clings to life. Last night, Sandy Seal, aged 17, was brutally stabbed in Wentworth Park. Seal and a friend, Donald Marshall,
Did you hear that, John?
were attacked by two unknown
Were you at that Marshall crowd last night?
Marshall, who was also stabbed, was treated at hospital and released.
It's good you hanging around with that Indian crowd. You stick with your own kind. You hear me?
Contact the sergeant or detective.
Bad about Sandy there, Junior.
Yeah. You'll make out all right.
No, he won't.
Yeah, you will.
He just died, man. Heard it over the radio.
Oh, Jesus.
Already talk going around that it's going to be trouble. Some people may be coming up here, eh?
The guy had it nice, eh? Thought he was going to come after me, too. There was nothing I could have done.
Not what they're saying.
So you finally killed somebody, eh, man?
Go easy, man. We're with you. Go easy,
Kill anyone?
They didn't kill anyone.
Kill anyone?
Better hope they get the guy that done it.
Today, we, the Mi'kmaq community, pray that Sandy will find the eternal peace in his new home that was denied him on earth. We pray also that the person responsible for this most vicious crime will reap his just reward, for there is no denying God's law. Justice will not be denied. Let us all stand and pray. Nuntsinen Waso, Avin, Jibtu, Deluise, and Negedin, Waso.
Over there beside Prodigal.
That's Maynard Chant. McIntyre wants to talk to him.
Bark rain this morning.
Find anything? Mud.
You gonna and want Marshall in here, too. John, wanna stay here tonight or go home?
Geez, I don't know.
Sometimes sleeps in a cell overnight. It's home away from home, eh?
First, I seen two fellows. They talked for a few minutes over on Crescent Street. One fellow hauled a knife from his pocket and stabbed one of the fellows, so I took off across the tracks.
Who are all these people?
Him? McIntyre's talking to him about the Marshall thing.
Hell, if I was the guy that done it, I'd be off the island this morning.
Probably just an argument, got out of hand.
Maybe.
You know how them kind of kids are.
It's funny, eh? That description the Indian gave kind of made me think of that weirdo hangs out around the kilt.
It's me and Bobby Patterson.
Couldn't be. Description's not even close.
Did you notice anything strange in the park?
No, I didn't. Everything was pretty much as it usually is. There was a few people hanging out, but that sort of thing.
Sure of that?
Yeah.
Did you know a boy was stabbed in the park?
Yeah, I did know that. I heard it on the radio Saturday morning.
You know, I think McIntyre's still mad at Marshall about that gravestone.
What's that?
Somebody trashed the McIntyre headstone there a while. 19,000 fixed.
No, that was a different McIntyre, eh?
You don't figure it.
That description you gave the detective Friday night, you sticking to it?
One of them was an old man, gray hair. He's the one that did the stabbing. And he was wearing a long, dark blue coat. He looked like a priest.
It was pretty dark that night. No moon, as I recall. You'd been drinking. You have a pretty good memory, don't you? And whenever you're picked up for something, it improves.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So after this old man stabbed Seal, you ran off?
Yeah.
I've never known you to back down from a fight. And a little old man? A priest?
I had a knife.
What were you doing in the park at midnight?
Walking home.
You weren't there for anything else, eh?
Like what?
I've known you to go looking for a fight. Known you to panhandle pretty aggressively. You've already got a liquor offense. Is there anything I don't know?
Who killed Seal?
Marshall, before you go, I want you to leave that jacket behind.
The second guy was at least 6 feet and was much younger. Younger, right? Yeah, younger.
Boy, save your story. Don't do no good telling it to me. You'll have to talk to Sergeant. What's that these lads are talking about? They think they might have seen something in the park.
2 guys, a tall one and a short one. The short one was wearing a long blue coat, sort of.
Thanks, Pat. Take their information, will you, Sergeant? Come along, Billy. I got something to show you. Marshall said he put his arm up like this to protect himself, right? Said the guy lunged at him after he stabbed Seal.
That's how Marshall's saying he got himself cut.
Yeah. But look, if you're trying to protect yourself, you're going to do this. And then where do you get cut? On the outside of the arm.
How did he get cut?
3 guesses.
Cut himself?
Marshall's not stupid by any means.
Says here, he failed twice by grade 6, and he was expelled by 15 for striking a teacher.
He was on the phone, eh, Saturday morning? Heard that from a couple of them kids. That's how that cockamamie story about the 2 priests got started.
There's a few of them saying the same thing.
Do you notice? There's not much blood on the jacket. How do you figure that? And look at that hole. That's not a cut. It's been torn. I'll betcha.
Full on safe. This not up on the radar. I figured she's crippled because of the crazy course she's steering. Huh? 1,000 legs. They could tell you what that lady, even wounded, could do, eh? Huh? Now, I'd woke up a bit late because of a bit of a tooth me and my mates had the night before. But they were good boys back then. As I stood silent on the bridge, I knew this. The time was coming close when Captain Roy Epperson.
Now this is the good part.
Good one, yes. Cutting in on me, but telling a story, Jimmy. Don't you ever do that.
Radico's lying. Or Chant. One or the other. Or both of them. Chant's on about the two priests. And now Pratical is saying it was the Hell's Angels.
Satan's choice.
Everything but the Holy Ghost.
I'm not following you there.
The lighting. The bushes. It's all wrong for what they're saying. Them two can't both have seen what they said they saw. It's impossible.
You sure?
Yeah. Let's bring him in.
All right.
Oh, I hear Chant is on probation for something. Find out, will you?
Okay.
Hello?
Marshal, you know what's good for you. You get the hell out of here. Understand that your kind aren't wanted here.
I'll be straight with you, Maynard. I don't like what you've been telling us. You're in a lot of trouble here, lad. An awful lot of trouble.
It's like I told you the first time. There were two guys. One fella hauled a knife out of his pocket.
Think again, lad. You know what happens to people who lie. Especially people who lie to the police, eh? It's called perjury.
What's perjury?
People go to jail for perjury. Was there any other conversation between you and Marshall at this time?
When? When I came up to him?
Yeah.
He said there were two men. He said the tall one who had brown hair done the stabbing.
This, of course, is not true.
No.
Good lad.
Then I seen Marshall pull a knife out of his pocket and jab the other fella with it, the side of the stomach.
What side?
The right side.
Are you sure it was the right side?
Yes. I seen him jab it in and slit it down.
How could you tell it was a knife?
It was shiny and long.
And I hear Sandy say to Junior, you crazy Indian. And then Junior said, called him a black bastard.
Which way was Steele facing?
The tracks.
Which way was Marshall facing?
The street.
Then what happened?
Then I see Marshall's hand going towards the left side of Steele's stomach, and he drove his hand in, turned it, and pulled it back.
Did Steele scream when Donald Marshall struck him in the stomach?
Yes, he did. He screamed like, ah!
That's good, John. I'll write this up. You can read it, and if you agree, sign it.
going on?
They came to her seal for killing Sandy Seal.
What are you talking about?
Did you do it?
I didn't do nothing. There were 2 priest guys that done it.
They still say you did.
I didn't do nothing.
Did you do it?
I didn't do it.
I won't come in your house, Marshal, if you step outside.
When they come in, don't get them no trouble.
I'm here to arrest you for the murder of Sandy Steele. Mr. Marshal, if you won't come, bring him out. You need not say anything. You have nothing to hope from any promise or favor, and nothing to fear from any threat, whether or not you say anything. Anything you do say may be used as evidence.
I don't care what you got against me. I never did it.
You're in big trouble, lad. In.
As your lawyer, it's very important, and it's certainly nothing that you have to worry about.
You've got enough problems.
Donald, there are a couple of details here that I think are just a little bit curious. Now, you seem to have a very clear recollection of what happened that night, and this is good. This will help. Although obviously it was rather a highly charged experience. I gather that you told the police you had a fair bit to drink that night, and then you talk about the people that you allege did the stabbing, and you say that one of them was dressed like a priest.
One was. A short one.
Sydney's a small town, though. Strangers get noticed here. That's what small towns do. They notice things. Things that are out of place, people who don't fit. You see what I mean?
Like it is.
Donald, my problem with this is I just don't understand. How come the police have never even heard of a short, gray-haired old weirdo like the one you're describing? I mean, to me, this is just not possible.
Listen, McNeil. My old man thinks it'd be better if you didn't come around the house no more.
It's not that we don't like you or anything. It's more that Roy gets all nervous when you come around.
But Roy and me get along good.
The old man's in kind of a bad way nowadays.
Roy said we was mates.
Not anymore.
Get lost, McNeil.
Fellas feel okay?
Yes, sir. I think so.
You remember what we went over in the park?
Yes, sir.
You just tell them the truth the same way you told it to me. Don't you worry about anybody hurting you, or making you unhappy, or looking bad, or anything.
No, sir. There are going to be a lot of people here.
It's going to be packed.
You see.
Mr. Evers, you are the RCMP firebirds expert who examined Donald Marshall's jacket, is that right?
That's correct.
Could you describe that jacket, please?
There was 2 cuts in the left sleeve of the jacket. One cut was about 1 inch long and the other was 8 inches long.
Were those cuts made by a knife, or were they the result of a rip, such as someone might do themselves?
Part of the longer cut resembled a rip, and the other part of it looked like it was cut by a knife.
Tell me, Dr. Varick, was there any bleeding from the cut in Donald Marshall's arm?
No, there was no bleeding. I just went and stitched it.
Now, Doctor, in your opinion, could this wound have been self-inflicted?
Hard to know, really.
But it's possible.
It's possible.
Nurse Davis, could you describe Donald Marshall's wound, please?
He had a laceration on his left forearm, about 3 inches long.
Did you notice anything else about his arm?
He had a tattoo on it.
Can you tell us what that tattoo says?
I hate cops.
Thank you.
Ah, believe me, it could have been a lot worse. I tell you, I think this whole thing's going to come right down to what Chant and Pratico have to say.
Oh, hold on, Mr. Marshall.
How come they weren't looking for a short fella and tall fella like Junior said?
Oh, they are looking. And they'll keep looking. They will. Let's make sure Chant and Pratico don't get to hear each other's testimony.
Junior said Chant and Practical wasn't even in the park.
I know, and we're going to try and prove that. We'll do it. We'll shake up
Short
that
fella
testimony.
and tall fella.
Yeah.
When film will watch. Yeah, you down. Stayed watching.
Maynard, did you notice anything as you were walking along the railway tracks?
I noticed a fellow hunched over into a bush.
You do?
He was looking over towards the street, so I looked over and I saw 2 people over there.
Did you recognize either of these people?
No. But I guess they were having a bit of an argument.
Why do you say that?
I don't have no reason why.
Would you hear what they were saying?
No. Although I could hear they were using profane language.
Can you describe these 2 men, what they were wearing?
Well, the fellow what kneeled over, he had on a dark jacket and pants and that on, and the other fellow had, at first I thought it was a yellow shirt, and then after when he caught up to me, it was a yellow jacket.
Now, Maynard, this man you saw, what did he do with the object in his hand?
Drove it into the other man's stomach.
Who was the man that hauled out the object and drove it? Pardon?
Donald Marshall.
Is that what he said before?
No, my lord, he did not say that before. In his evidence, he did not recognize him.
No, I didn't recognize him at that time, but after, I recognized him.
After when?
When he came up to me in the street.
You recognized him as being Donald Marshall?
Yes.
Now, Maynard, at no time that evening, say to any of those policemen that this boy right over here stabbed the man who was lying on the ground, did you? Later on, when you were taken back to the hospital, you say that it was Donald Marshall, Jr. who stabbed Sandy Seal?
No.
Now, the only reason I am suggesting that you ever said it was Donald Marshall, Jr. is because the police told you it was Donald Marshall, Jr.
No.
They're the ones who told you the name Donald Marshall, Jr. Don't look at them, look at me.
No.
Understand why he's lying. Me and him never had any trouble or nothing.
He doesn't understand what he's doing.
Nothing in it for him to lie.
Maybe he won't tell the truth, but he couldn't let it out.
And arguing, and then I see Marshall, his right hand come out like this, and then plunge it into Seal's. It was shiny, and then
I'm left-handed. You're confusing me there. His hand came out of his pocket. You were talking about something shiny. How does this connect with it?
I think it was a shiny object.
What did he do with the shiny object?
Oh, he plunged it into Seal's stomach.
What did Seal do?
He fell. And that's the last I seen.
You're sure?
Yes, sir.
All right. So when you asked these men if they were priests, did you get an answer?
Yeah.
Tell us what it was.
The younger one said we are.
And then what happened?
They asked me if there were any women down the park. I told them there were lots of them.
Ronnie, take your hand down. Take it down. All right, go on.
don't like niggers or Indians. Go. Took a knife out of his mouth. Who did? The older fellow. Yes. Drove it to Seal.
Louder, please.
Drove it into Seal.
Marshal, after the stabbing, you were running?
Yes.
Did these two men attempt to follow you?
Well, I looked back. They ran behind the houses.
Well, why did you not then go to a house to seek assistance?
Well, I couldn't take a chance going back.
There were plenty of houses along that street.
If I'd have went to a house, they would have come after me.
Who would have come after you?
Two men.
Were they following you along the street as you were running?
A few feet.
They were running after you, were they?
Well, a few feet, you know.
And you couldn't have run into a house?
No, I could not run into a house.
I mean knock on the door. I don't mean smash it down.
Every time somebody comes, I'm liable to be dead.
He's failed grades 2, 5, and 6. Now, Gentleman Chant was there. He was there. He was at the scene with Marshall. But did he say to the ambulance driver or to any of the policemen? Did he say to anybody at all? And remember, there was a man lying there stabbed. Did he say to anybody at all? There he is. He's standing right beside me. There's the man that did it. Arrest him. Arrest him. Did he say that? What about John Pratico? He said that he saw Donald Marshall Jr. whip out a knife or a sharp object with his right hand and drive it into Sandy Seal. Gentlemen, little did he know that Donald Marshall is left-handed. What about Donald Marshall? Here he is. He's 17 years old. He's uneducated. He's untutored. Remember what he said to Chant? He said, hey, look what they did to my arm. Left arm. Look what they did to my arm. Come on, let's get out of here. Let's go up there. We'll call the police. And that's exactly what he did. He called the police. Gentlemen, is that the action of a guilty man? Is Marshall such an actor?
Why did Mr. Chant, Mr. Pratico, wait a week before telling the police what they saw? My answer is quite simple. Fear. Now, that is why they didn't tell the police for a week until what I would say was brilliant police work brought the whole matter out into the open. Now, my learned friend tries to discredit Mr. Chant for failing grades 2, 3, 6, whatever. Well, I'm sorry, gentlemen, I'm sorry for that, but there were no PhDs that we know of in the park that night. Mr. Chant came to town that night to go to church. Mr. Rosenblum didn't say too much about that. And any man that would go to church on a Friday evening can't be all that bad. But you don't have to be a doctor, you don't have to be a lawyer, you don't have to be an engineer to see a man on the street brutally stabbed to death. I am submitting to you, gentlemen, that the Crown has, in the only possible way, except if they had a movie camera set up at Crescent Street that night, has given you the best possible evidence you could get. That's an eyewitness. And not one eyewitness, but 2 eyewitnesses. And it is your duty, bound under the oath you took for office, to find the accused guilty as charged. Thank you.
Gentlemen, in discussing the testimony of Maynard Chant, you will ask yourselves, what possible motive would he have in implicating the accused? And John Pratico's testimony. What motive would lead this young man to concoct the story, placing the blame for a heinous crime on the shoulders of an innocent man? You will believe both witnesses or neither. There is no other possibility. And I'll leave the fate of Donald Marshall Jr. in your hands. Thank you.
I know that the waiting is
hard, but, you know, with a big case, that's always the way it is. It really doesn't have to be. Anyway, I'll see you inside.
Jury's in, Marshal.
It's quick.
Earlier than 4 hours.
That a good sign?
Just means I had no doubts.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Gentlemen, have you agreed upon your verdict?
Yes.
You find the accused, Donald Marshall, Jr., guilty or not guilty?
Guilty?
No.
Donald Marshall, Jr., it is the sentence of this court that you will be imprisoned in Dorchester Penitentiary for life.
Tough guy, eh, Chief? Let's see how you do it in the real world. Don't take much to stick a knife at some kid's belly.
Welcome back, John. Good. Saw your name in the paper a couple of weeks ago. Go to Marshall Fair. You were a pretty important witness. Was a picture there? No. Come on back up. Same old thing.
My brother here wants to talk to somebody about their Marshall fella.
Who's your brother?
I am.
You're Jimmy McNeil, aren't you?
Yeah.
What about Marshall?
Jimmy says Marshall ain't the one that done the stabbing. Him and Roy Ebser, you walk around in the park.
Slow down a bit. The trial's over, McNeil. Almost 2 weeks ago. What makes you think Marshall didn't do it?
I know Marshall didn't do nothing. Because I was there, and I seen what happened.
You were, eh?
Yeah, I was.
What side was the wound on, Jimmy?
The left side, I seen Roy's hand and knife all full of blood.
He's been saying that all day.
You hold it right there, McNeil. I think there's somebody else you ought to be talking to.
Never happened like I said it did, eh? No way it did. I might have mental problems, but old Roy's crazier than a bag of hammers. Now he says he don't want to see me no more.
The short fellow, he tried to grab my ring off me. But I tried to wrestle with him. He flung me onto the ground. I made a kick at him. He got up and ran off. I went over to see how Jim was making out. And the other fella, he drops Jim and runs off too.
Did you stab the man you were wrestling with?
Hell no! Why would I stab him?
I don't know. But if you did, we're going to find out.
Get it. Come on. Okay, come on. Go. Yeah, that's it.
Well, John, looks like you got a bit of a problem.
Go.
Might be, Al. I don't put much stock in this McNeil fella. He's a rather backward individual, if you know what I mean. That Ebser, But anyway, we can always use the Mounties' help, eh?
The RCMP and the Sydney Police Force go back a long ways. Never been much we couldn't figure out if we put our minds to it.
Nobody fools a lie detector, that's for sure.
Well, at least the RCMP reinvestigates this thing and it's clean. It's bloody well clean.
Yes, it is.
You a bit nervous, Jimmy?
Yeah, huh?
No need to be nervous here. Nothing's gonna happen to you. You've been drinking a bit, have you?
Well, yeah, you know, like, just a couple of beers to calm me down and that.
Detective McIntyre tells me you've got something you want to say to me.
Yeah, I do.
It's not on, son.
I ain't never been very good at tests.
It's not that kind of test, Jimmy.
You gonna take the test?
No, just your father. They want to talk to me and your brother. Conversation, sort of.
Do they want to talk to me, too?
What would a little girl like you have to say to the police?
This shouldn't take too long, Mr. Ebser. Just a few simple questions, and we'll move on to the Marshall thing.
Right you are.
This will only take a minute.
Well, this is kind of fun, isn't it?
Really?
I like you. You're a real gentleman, you are. You can hook me up any way you want.
There's only one way to do this, Mr. Ebser.
Or maybe I can show you a couple of other ways.
Arm there.
Right.
And rest on the floor.
You're going to ask me about the morning I sunk the Bismarck, aren't you? May 26, 41. Killed 3,000. Everybody wants to ask me that one.
That's not what we had in mind.
No, I'm a reverend.
No.
Look straight ahead. The test salute begin.
I'm a reverend in Universal Life Church. Did you know that, young man?
Oh, I didn't know that. You just look straight ahead now.
I didn't think you did. God speaks to me often. I will be with you always, that's what he says. God doesn't like liars.
Stab Sandy Seal. Did you stab Sandy Seal?
No.
Were you right there when Sandy Seal was stabbed?
No.
That night, did you wash blood from a knife?
No.
That's it.
That's it?
That's it, Mr. Adversary. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's too bad. That really is too bad.
Look, frankly, McNeil's not readable. And I just think it might be the booze.
But the stabbing thing.
Clearly a figment of his imagination. The man's sub-intelligent, and he's an alcoholic. It's a good story.
And Adversary?
Well, he passed. He's a cagey old fox, but he was telling the truth.
But here I have to caution you a bit, because the polygraph is not yet foolproof. He sure didn't stab Sandy Seal.
That's the way we figured it, too.
We got a prisoner movement now.
I've been here almost 3 months now. Yesterday, a black guy came at me with a shiv. The brothers took care of him. I guess I must learn to take care of myself. But I hope, if things work out with my appeal, I won't be here too much longer.
Come on, man. It's not your beef. Let's go. Come on. Get your share.
You're some goddamn lucky this morning. You see something like that come down, get away. It's none of your business. It's not your beef. Help the guy. You help him, and you're numbered next. It's not your business there.
This is it. You lick each other's armpits. You stink.
Up there doesn't exist. You're gonna hear people farting. You're gonna hear them sweating. You think I'm funny, huh? This is home. You'll hear the guy in the next room crying sometime. You give him his privacy. He'll give you yours. I've been here 7 years. These creeps around. Listen. Do you no favors. He's still out there. Some of them, when they come down, they'll whistle. No one whistles in here but the screws. Okay? You listen to that.
97 stairs up, 97 down, 8 times a day. Drugs get you through the days, not the nights. White bread makes the best prison brew. Always keep your pants on and don't take no shits, ever. 'Cause the vultures eat the weak ones first. Two years in, the Supreme Court has rejected my appeal. Now the heat is really on to admit I murdered Seal.
You've been here long enough, haven't you, Junior? Haven't you?
Yeah?
You're going to Spring Hill soon. And maybe you'll do better in there, but that's not going to get you a parole. Why don't you sit down?
No.
If you really wanted to, you could get out. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, for what?
Well, if you stopped fighting, it would help. But that's not the main problem.
Haven't we played this game before?
Look, Junior, talk to me. Tell me what you think you're gaining by holding out. You're not impressing anyone. You don't admit you murdered Seal. You don't move.
Oh, the hell with all you bastards.
That's the only way you're going anywhere.
Guard! Guard! Guard, get me out of here. I want to get out of here. I want to go to the hole. I got to think things out, but this woman's driving me crazy.
Can't do that, Marshal. You know that. Got no reason.
No, I got a reason. No, you don't take me down with the place. I'm going to smash this whole place down, including you. Now you take me down with the place, or somebody's going to get hurt around here.
I dream constantly about the old man. I will never forget that face, the voice. I don't understand why they don't find him.
Donna is one of my karate students.
Why isn't she here, Mr. Ratchford? What she has to tell us is so important.
She's shy, and she'd have a hard time talking in front of you guys. And frankly, she's afraid of her father. So we thought that if I come down here...
How old did you say she was?
16.
Childish?
She's shy.
Well, Mr. Ratchford, what do you think she'd tell us if she were willing to talk to us?
She saw her father washing the blood off a knife the night the Seal boy was killed.
It was 3 years ago. Come on now.
This seems important.
It was so important. Where was she 3 years ago?
She's just a kid, and she's very shy.
You said that already. Other kids came forward.
Won't you just talk to McIntyre?
You're fed up with the whole thing.
Year 5. Going back to school here. Where are you gonna go with grade 6? Told them I ain't the guy that stabbed Seal. They just laughed. The George is dry this week. Nothing's coming in. Got the shakes real bad.
We got your letter. We took the letter to John McIntyre. He read it, but I don't think he finished reading it when he dropped it on the desk. And he said, he says he just won't come home and get even with the witnesses around here.
Not going to reopen the case? You're not going to go look for the guy?
I don't know. I just walked up from his office and I told him, thank you very much, and I don't think I'll come back here looking for help anymore.
Where's the lawyer? Talk to the lawyer?
I talked to Rosen Rome. Rosen Rome said, I can't work the same money. I went to Cater, and Cater said, you got no money, I can't work for you. And I went to the Indian Affairs and pushed me out the East office and said, you can't work guilty.
Lopa, iskam me walne, uchitan tendiglo kulana bringing muye. Jamale fiskwa na da name, turning an empty when forgotten in a dank do you allow. We had always live with mad was and waiting out till we live mad or something more down. They gave all of it meant someone in junior, a color Dorchester.
6 years in, the shrinks are trying to convince me I really did murder Seal, but that I just forgot. Oh, Jesus. Met her while she was visiting her brother, who's also doing time. At least she don't always ask why I done it.
I thought he was going to make it there for a while.
He's slipping.
He wants to get a temporary leave to visit his family on the reserve. Let me hear the community assessment.
Mrs. Marshall becomes extremely defensive about her family, especially Donald Jr. She becomes high-strung and emotional. She will not accept the truth under any circumstances.
Chief Alex Christmas. I couldn't reach him as he was out celebrating re-election.
Mr. C.M. Rosenblum, Marshall's lawyer, attempted an appeal, which was rejected. There are no grounds for any further appeals. He's quite frankly sick of hearing Marshall's name.
Chief John McIntyre would be opposed to Marshall's being released on temporary leave. He fears trouble with the black community.
Mr. Bernie Francis, who is himself an Indian and a court worker at the time, is convinced that Marshall is guilty. He thinks that his mother is the key problem.
Obviously, Marshall's feelings of innocence haven't diminished one bit. Shame. He's not such a bad kid when he's sober. Temporary leave denied.
"8 years in. The joint is very tense right now. Word coming down, there's going to be a hostage taking. The screws know it too. Lockdowns, strip searches, 2 stabbings last week. 1 is dead. The violence is growing inside me, and I like it.
Come and get these blood-for-nothing pigs!
But I'm getting desperate. I'm afraid I will not make it.
Last seen wearing jeans, sweatshirt, running shoes. Escaped yesterday while on supervised leave. Probably armed. Considered dangerous. Extreme caution advised.
I don't know how I'm going to get to your place. But I should make it for sure later tonight. No, I can't say no more. I trust you, Shelley.
Freeze, Marshal. Come on, put him up. Real slow. Come on, up, up. Better. Where's the girl?
I had to call you.
Hey, man, what you back for? What's up, Marshal? Long time no see. How you doing, Jake? Hey, Pete, you're a bum. Love bum. Doing there, buddy? How you doing? How you doing, Joseph?
I should have never gone to Shelley's. I should have kept going. I could have found that old man. I ain't nothing but a toad in God's pocket. $10 years. I have told my lawyer to drop all attempts to get me out. I'm doing 15 Valium a day. I have been stoned or drunk every day for the past year. I don't give a shit.
When I called the cops about your escape, I always wondered if I'd done the right thing. Now seeing me like this and all.
You don't make no difference.
My brother's getting out on parole soon. Maybe someday you'll be too.
Been here 10 years now. I don't know.
Okay, folks, let's wrap it up.
Not stubborn like you are, Junior.
He's lucky, maybe.
By the way, Junior, do you know a guy named Adversary?
Nope, never heard of him.
He knows you pretty good.
Yeah? Can't place a name.
Well, I used to board at his house, and he told me he knew you. Or he knew about you. He said he killed a black guy in, when...
A lot of stuff happened in that park.
A few years ago. And he said there was an Indian in that fight.
An old man?
Yeah, an old guy.
Gray hair with glasses?
Yeah. He's crazy as a shithouse rat, eh? I mean, I never believed him. All the nights I had to sit up and listen to that crap. What you were saying about it kind of makes me wonder. Calls himself Reverend Captain Roy Ebser. You know him? Okay, you two have been here long enough. Oh. And now.
Yeah, I know him. I know him.
Hey, Jim. What you got here?
Well, right now, it's hard to tell.
It's never been a torch that you couldn't smell in the first 5 minutes.
Oh, some are harder than others. Just passing by this way, are you?
Want a job?
I look like I need a job.
2 days max. Good clean work. Get you away from all this.
These ashes are going to cool off in a hurry.
The boss wants us to go up to Dorchester. Talk to a guy named Donald Marshall.
Long time ago, that one. I like ashes better.
Why?
Well, they don't lie, Harry. By the way, do I have any choice on this?
Not really. Taking him up for burgers.
Nothing with you, Ed. That's for your stepping there, Harry. That's ground evidence you're walking on. I've been on the force a lot of years. I've never once been inside Dorchester.
There's been a few guys here. Never regretted it. I think of some of them. I wish we still had the rope.
Ever get any out?
Yeah, two. Guess what?
What?
I found out later that we're guilty.
Here's Marshall.
Never thought I'd see you guys here. Just here to tie up some loose ends. Don't expect anything. All right. Where'd you get the black eye? Ran into a wall. You just ran into another one. Thought you guys were here to help me. You thought wrong. I don't want to be the guy who springs the killer just to prove how smart he is. So you talk to me, Marshal. You tell me why you're not the one who killed Seal. And if you lie to me once, I'll be out of here so fast your head will spin.
I read the trial transcript again. Looked okay to me.
Yeah, me too.
Or, have I missed something?
I don't think so. Donnie C. McNeil and McIntyre must have been an awful tough crowd to come up against.
I don't feel good about this, Harry.
Your stomach bothering you again?
That's another problem. Really, the only problem I have with the whole thing is most of those witnesses were teenagers.
Well, Marshall was a teenager, and he stuck a knife in some kid's guts, and a little soft on me.
I hope this doesn't take long.
Why?
In-laws coming over tonight. Gotta lock up the icebox.
Just play him some of your fiddle music. They won't stay long.
You know what I think?
What?
The whole thing's a cooked-up job. RCMP did a complete reinvestigation 11 years ago, even used a lie detector. Why don't you just let the thing drop?
Oh, I can't do that. Chief upstairs wants it.
Marshall's been saying all sorts of crap ever since he was sent up. You know as well as I do, there's not a guy doing time that don't have a story. You know what else? A clincher. Mitchell Sarson is Shelley Sarson's brother. Shelley Sarson is Marshall's girlfriend.
Probably right.
I read the trial transcript. Looked pretty good.
Damn right it does. Both Pratico and Champ saw him stick the knife in. All the details check.
Well, we're going to have to talk to them.
They were just kids. How much do you remember from the old days, Harry?
Well, I remember that you were the toughest cop on the street, Chief. Morning, Mitchell. Staff Sergeant Wheaton, Sergeant Carroll.
Howdy. Sit down, Mitchell. We'd like to have a few words with you. I said, sit down.
glad you guys will be coming around, but that was a while ago.
These things take time.
I'd almost forgotten about it, Marshal.
We're gonna jog your memory a little bit.
How long did you live with Ebsary, Mitchell?
A few months.
Close friends, were you?
Sorta.
Mitchell, if we ask you to, you willing to take a lie detector test?
Might.
We might ask.
You know a man got a life sentence for the murder of Seal? Now, why didn't you come forward and offer
Hey,
some...
man. I just cleaned the bar.
Time passes fast when you're having fun.
That should give you indigestion.
Only my in-laws can be in.
Tell me something, Jim. The description Sarson gave you. Does it remind you of the one that Marshall gave the police 11 years ago?
Marshall and Sarson talked, they could have cooked the whole thing.
I guess that's what the chief thought.
He's not been wrong about anything so far, Harry. Why don't we just go on in and get Ebsary?
Jim, relax. Here's our man.
Has to be.
Reminds you of someone's description?
Yes, it does.
Mr. Ebsary, my name is Donald Marshall, Jr. I am serving a life sentence for the murder of Sandy Seal. I have been locked up now for 11 years. I have suffered long enough, my friend. I believe you know something about this matter, and I'm asking you to help me. I pray that you'll be honest, and I ask God to forgive you and to forgive the people that were involved with my trial. Sincerely yours.
Son says the old man never left the house for 7 years after the murder. Haven't talked to his daughter yet. Some of the neighbors said they'd see Roy slip out in and out. Apparently he was getting it on with someone's dog.
He's a one-man band.
Versatile.
So's Chan together.
A minor drug dealer. He thinks he was more, but he's not.
You know, Harry.
Yeah. See you tomorrow. Go visit his folks. Thanks. They run a funeral home. They're good people. Apparently Maynard used to stash the stuff in a coffin. Something else that's curious. When they did the reinvestigation back in '71, they knew Ebsary carried a knife. Pulled a file on him. He had a conviction for carrying a concealed weapon. Staff Sergeant Wheaton, RCMP Sydney. This is Sergeant Carroll. I guess you know why we're here.
Yes, I do. I'm sorry, gentlemen. As you see, we're having a visitation in the other room. I wouldn't have planned it this way.
Wish we could have given you more notice.
We never get much notice, Mr. Reed. Come this way and I'll take your coats.
Well, I gotta tell you straight off. I didn't see no murder that night. I wasn't even in the park when the murder happened.
Mrs. Chair, may I have a private word with you?
Go ahead.
I met Marshall near the park. Must have been a few minutes after the thing happened. But I wasn't there. I didn't see nothing. So help me God.
You told the police you saw everything.
It was a variation on what Marshall told me. See, I come after the stabbing was done, so I didn't see anything.
But Marshall wouldn't have said he stabbed Seal.
He did. That story about Marshall didn't come about till the second time I talked with the police. He told me I was on probation and could get 2 to 5 years for perjury. I didn't even know what perjury was.
You have any other contact with policemen?
A couple of times. Before the trial, 2 detectives come over to my house and drove me over to Wentworth Park. They wanted me to show them where Pratico had been hiding that night and where I'd been standing on the tracks. They marked the spots in chalk. They were suggesting different spots, and I agreed.
At the time of the trial, did you believe you were lying?
Everybody kept saying, Maynard, tell us the truth. And I guess after a while, I believed I was.
It's going to take longer than a couple of days.
I read your report. You're being careful.
Trying to.
Chant lied back in 71. Why not now, Harry?
No reason to lie today.
Did he have one back then?
A teenager on probation. Wasn't very bright. A lot of pressure being applied. Talk to the chief?
McIntyre's a tough cop. I wonder how he was fooled.
Was he?
There are some aspects to this that could be sensitive. Talk to Absary and Pratico first.
Which I know what they're going to say.
Do it by the book, Harry.
John. I'd like you to take a look at this.
Yes, sir?
This is the statement you gave to the police.
Yes, sir, it is.
I'd like you to read it, John. I'll read it for you. I went down Argyle Street and over Crescent Street. I was walking on the park side.
Sydney police knew Pratico was unstable. Used to drive him to the mental hospital. His own doctor said he's the kind of person who distorts reality to put himself in the limelight.
I thought this was just going to be a simple reinvestigation. Either they got the right man or they didn't.
I mean, I tried to tell them that I didn't see nothing, and they said, oh, we know you're lying. I mean, I'd heard of the stabbing at this time, but I didn't know who did it or who had died or nothing. But McIntyre said, you do know, and if you don't tell, then we're going to put you in jail. They put words in my mouth, and then they writ up this statement, and I signed it. My nerves were really bad back then.
You're sure?
McIntyre?
Yeah.
Just about.
Lean on Absary a bit. Without a confession, we've got nothing.
Well, here's your Bismarck there.
He said broadside.
That was the hood over there, I thought.
Well, the hood was way. The hood was way the hell it got away. It wasn't even in the pipe. No, that's the Rodney. There it is. The Rodney's over there.
How far away are you?
50 miles.
50
miles. Well, give me another 15 minutes. I'll get him up to 20 miles. Then we can use the railroad. Ah! Don't shoot, boys. I'll give up.
You shut up.
Well, I shut up for you. I'll shut up for you. You're a cute one, you are.
Do you want to talk to him?
Frankly, no.
And I think we might do better if I talk to him alone.
Oh, lucky you.
Hey, where do you go, boys? Hey, why don't you stay for a beer, huh? You know, they're not supposed to drink on the job, you know.
Apparently there was another suspect, a guy named Bobby Patterson. They tried to pick him up, but they couldn't find him, so they dropped him. That happened. Patterson was in the county jail. You know what else? When our guys did the reinvestigation in 71, they never even bothered to talk to Chandler Pratico. They just read the bloody transcript. That's all they did. They believed everything the chief told them. Don't forget what this investigation is about. I'm not sure if you're trying to get Marshall out. We'll get back to that.
I wrote to Marshall, you know. I told him I'd be willing to help out in any way I could. I'll help you in any way I can.
You mean you admit it?
Admit what?
You know, he wasn't such a bad guy after you'd get him cleaned up and all. It was him carrying all those knives that used to scare me so. I had no choice but to throw him out.
You mean he had more than one knife?
Oh, he loved his knives. He'd sharpen them down on that big wheel downstairs. He had lots of knives. But he also liked his books and his art things.
And boys?
Mary, are any of those knives still around?
Probably all of them. Roy would sharpen them down in the basement. He had a whole bunch down
Well, that's where he'd sharpen them. Where are they, Greg? Last time I looked, they're back here. Yeah. Well, you know, they're still here. These were his toys, eh?
Do you know which one he had the night Seal was murdered?
I would. It's that one with the foil wrapped around the handle.
Don't touch it.
I'd find his pockets slashed from pulling it in and out, eh?
Tell me, when the police questioned you two back in 1971, did they see all this?
Never came out to the house. Never asked about no knives.
Well, when McIntyre questioned you, did you tell him your father carried knives?
Sure.
How do you remember that?
I told him everything. My old man never done me no favors.
It's what Chandler Pratico said.
I already took statements with them 11 years ago.
This is a little different from those statements.
When did you talk to them?
A couple of days ago. They say their original statements were incorrect.
At first, they were giving me a cock and bull story. But their statements, these things here, they're bloody well correct.
We believe Pratico and Chandler lied to you.
They signed those statements. There's no goddamn way. Look at this. He drove it into the other man's stomach. Who? Donald Marshall. And Pratico. What did he do with the shiny object? Plunged it towards Seal's stomach. What did Seal do? He fell.
That's not what they're saying today.
Chant and Pratico were telling the truth back then. Today they're lying.
You believed those witnesses once, Chief. They're saying you bullied them into saying exactly what you wanted to hear.
Read the 71 reinvestigation. Read the damn statements.
We did. And you're right. I got all the details. I don't think it was a botched investigation.
What was it?
Something stinks about this whole thing.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna get him.
Right now, we can't even get Marshall out.
We will.
None of that, sir, he doesn't talk.
How are the Bobbsey twins doing?
Been better.
You know what happens to Mounties who screw up?
What?
The winters are long and wind-blown.
Harry, you're not eating.
He's thinking.
It has now been 7 months since I told them about Epsri. I have heard nothing.
Slipping through her fingers, Dolph.
Yeah?
Jim's having trouble with Epsri. Don't get Epsri, the whole damn thing falls apart.
Well, I've testified at a lot of trials, but I've always had a strange feeling about the Marshall case.
Twist Epsri's arm, and probably break before he talks.
It's amazing when you look into a microscope. What you see, it's a whole different world from the one you guys are.
Dolph, I can't hear what you're seeing.
Well, I kept some of the fibers from Seal's jacket. Yeah. It's just kind of a habit I have. And you know, it's amazing, after all these years, how the fibers are still there on that knife that you found. You're not going to believe this, Harry. They match. What? The fibers from Epsri's knife match the fibers from Seal's jacket.
I like you. I never liked you much anyway.
Epsri's not the only one, Harry. Chief is furious. Apparently the papers are starting to smell something, and he's blown his stack. He says he's going to the Attorney General.
Can you do an end run?
We can try. I wonder would it have been any different if Marshall had been a nice middle-class white kid.
I hope that's not a serious question.
Don't step over the line, Harry. You become a loose cannon.
That was a clean investigation. I want to see the Attorney General.
It's not even in Halifax. Now go back to Sydney. And don't worry about this thing. The Attorney General's looking into it.
I suppose the next time you'll be coming after me.
Marshall brought it on himself, didn't he? He and Seal were out to roll that old man. They'd only said that in the beginning, right?
Marshall did it, and I don't care what anybody's saying. I want to see the AG.
Go back to Sydney. The Marshall case is history. Stay in touch, John.
I have always been taught to forgive. And for most of my life, I believed that. But I will never forgive those people that put me here. They took away 11 years of my life.
Peter has it bad. A major, almost out-of-control crush on Caitlin. And just maybe he has a chance. After all, she isn't getting along with Joey these days. Degrassi High. Love is in the air tomorrow at 8:30, 9 in Newfoundland. Sunday Report from Moscow. Tonight, join Peter Mansbridge with David Halton and Don Murray for a look ahead at Prime Minister Mulrooney's meeting with President Gorbachev. Sunday Report from Moscow. Tonight.